Greetings, my name is Chamomile, and this is an exploration of the entire galaxy sector by sector. Today we're talking about Perinn Sector, an 8th Bright Jewel command of the Outer Rim. Perinn Sector is the domain of the Asogian species, governed according to their traditions. The Asogians are part of the galactic community, they're in the Senate and stuff, but even in the time of the late Republic, before the Empire disenfranchised a lot of aliens as much as possible, they were overshadowed in prominence in their own sector by the Power-On conglomerate, who rule the planet of Cantress Gola. And you can tell how influential the Asogians are that they're overshadowed in their own sector by a regional conglomerate who are only well known in like 5 sectors. This sector also has the dubious honor of being home to Son Tool, the home base and namesake of the Son Tool Pride, honorary 6th member of the 5 syndicates. Different oversectors had different approaches to crime in the Outer Rim. 14th Red Tails was basically in bed with it after they lost most of their Imperial funding when the Death Star project was moved away from Geonosis, while 15th Hook Nebula was fighting constant low-grade war against pirates. 12th Cerulean Spear mostly ignored organized crime, leaving Imperial subjects to fend for themselves against Hutts, Pikes, and Zygarians, and 8th Bright Jewel followed that model until the Battle of Yavin. Prior to Yavin, while some Imperial organs like the Ubictorate took the rebels very seriously as a threat, most of the Empire considered them a nuisance, basically like pirates, a regional problem for specific oversectors to worry about. 4th Wide Curus's revolt on Mimban was not 8th Bright Jewel's problem any more than 15th Hook Nebula's pirate infestation was. After Yavin, all the Imperial oversectors very suddenly wanted to look busy. Emperor Palpatine loved to pit his underlings against one another, meting out terrible punishments to the losers and bestowing favor onto the winners, so every single oversector wanted to be doing the best job fighting the rebels, or at least not the worst job. And here the association between the rebels and space pirates and other organized criminal factions is relevant again, because 8th Bright Jewel Command didn't really have a significant rebel presence to target. They did eventually face a few planetary revolts, but right after Yavin, their problem was that they needed to look like they were doing something, and the Atropos Resistance Group hadn't really been a threat in years. Looking around for something vaguely rebel-shaped to destroy, Bright Jewel found the Son Tool Pride and cracked down hard. After Jakku and the declaration of the New Republic on Coruscant, the Grand Moffs of the oversectors that hadn't already been crushed were trying to figure out exactly how much power they still held. Grand Moffs were effectively feudal dictators over their oversectors, answering to no one but the Emperor, so when the Emperor died, the immediate result was that each Grand Moff became a sovereign dictator over their own Imperial remnant, continuing directly from the oversector government, but no one knew how durable that situation was going to end up being. Oversector commands like 15th Hook Nebula and 14th Red Tails were chewed up pretty much immediately by internal rebellions, while commands that threatened New Republic strongholds were torn to shreds, like 7th Golden Nis, which threatened Coruscant and were destroyed at Bilbringi, and 12th Cerulean Spear that threatened Kashyyyk and Mon Cala and were destroyed at the Meridian and Anti-Meridian sectors. After watching what happened to 7th Golden Nis, 8th Bright Jewel focused on not being an appetizing target to the New Republic, which meant both keeping enough Star Destroyers operational despite the loss of Core World's industry and finance to be a credible threat, but also pulling their territory back from the homeworlds of popular Jedi-associated species like the Nautilins on Glianselm and the Zabraks on Iridonia. Figuring out exactly where that border was going to be was a process, though, and it was not a process of austere diplomats coming to a consensus in meeting rooms overlooking a planet from orbit as dawn crept up over the horizon. It was a process of, for example, 8th Bright Jewel cutting a deal with a slaver with a hideout on planet Gabrador 3 in the Mito sector to kidnap the children of the ambassador of the Power-On conglomerate to blackmail him into suspending his talks for the accession of the corporate-ruled planet Cantress Gola into the New Republic. The Red Moon mercenaries were hired to rescue the kids, and once his family was safe, the ambassador was unsurprisingly eager to join the New Republic under basically whatever terms Mon Mothma was willing to give them. This wasn't a major battle or anything. An Imperial strike team kidnapped some kids, and a small mercenary company raided a criminal hideout to rescue them, but these kinds of skirmishes are what pushed 8th Bright Jewel back from the Mid-Rim, convincing the Imperials that the New Republic might be willing to fight for this planet, but not for that one, until a border was unofficially recognized.